What else we were going to talk today, Ruby?
There was a couple questions during the panel when you were doing Edwina's panel, and one of the questions was: is the root canal the same as a dead tooth? Since it would be the same when you see it when you're decoding yourself or understanding yourself as that's a part of an archetype that you don't need anymore.
No, the tooth is made of crystal.
Mhm.
The crystal, with our tooth are made of crystals because crystals are biomagnetic, bioelectric organs. They are always changing polarity and creating energy in connection with our brain. We have a lot of evidence uh, about that. This is scientific evidence. When you take away the nerve, when you do a root canal, what you are cutting is the connection between that crystal, which is the tooth, to the brain. What you are cutting is the ability of changing polarities. So, for example, imagine that you are 15 years old. You are a young lady and you are living a problem with your first relation, with your first partner at school. Okay, and there's a lot of problems with him. Well, okay, you will have a a sequence of symptoms in your lower left first premolar, which is the archetype of um, partner's love. Okay, you go to the dentist and he has to make a root canal. Okay, you have that archetype because you live partner's love, but you had that conflict, and now that you don't have that nerve anymore, it's cut that connection with the brain. There are three different connections, but the physical connection is is cut cut away. I don't know how to express
Mhm.
that. So it means that in your life, when you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50, every relation you have, you will live those relations, those partners' love, with the archetype of an adolescent, 15 years old,
Mm.
because you don't have actualizations of that polarity. So you have that archetype, but you are using old information to deal with that kind of relations. Is different of not having the tooth. Not having the tooth is, oh, I prefer not to express love with a partner. You may have a partner, but you will never feel love. It's different. Okay? This is a quick way of answering that question. Is that what they were asking, Ruby?
Yes, yes, that's perfect. That is actually, it makes it a lot easier for me to understand. I did not understand the difference between a root canal and losing a tooth because I myself am missing a bunch of teeth too in the back. So, but no root canals. So that means that I'm mature. So,
Right. And it's amazing how in our retreat you just will you learn the way of learning how to touch different circuits of how those psycho-emotional circuits are working. Because of course, if you want to understand how you are recognized, you have to understand how you are looked, how you are looked by your father's gaze. So you start touching different tooth outside, you learn how to touch them, and you will receive information of what happened.
mhm.
So our our retreats are for you to have the experience to recognize all the things that you are denying or rejecting from your own experiences. That's why the our retreats are the most important part of our formation, because I could be lying here. I could be just saying stupid history for you. But if you have if you have the experience, oh my God, you will understand, and now you are able to change things in your life through your own experience. Because the only thing that you really know are the things that you experience. That's why, in my opinion, in our retreats, you will understand that. And if you don't have a tooth, it's no problem because you have an energetic body of a tooth, and you will feel it, and you will feel which energy is behind of that suffering, of that conflict.
And again,
Okay.
the references is for ourselves, how we feel about a certain experience within us. It's not necessary what somebody is doing to us, which is the tendency that we tend to apply to is the mother archetype. It is not your actual mother. In that case, it's how you're feeling about whether it is the mother archetype. But once we're adults, we're our own archetypes, correct?
Exactly, because those archetypes transform in a part of your own ego.
Yeah.
So your ego will take as reference those archetypes. Archetype is a mold that you will always going to reach for doing something. Okay, a partner's love. Okay, friends, father, mother, siblings, everything.
Wonderful.
You have an archetype for different things. You have an archetype for feelings, because we have tooth for betrayal, for injustice, for frustration, for jealousy. And why do we have an archetype for those awful things? Because those things, you should go through those things and transform them in something that is very, very positive. Usually, we just get stuck in those things. But those things are the thing that will dynamize us into something bigger, which is amazing.
So it is all part about evolution. When we tend to see our cavities as a problem, it is not really a cavity, it's an opportunity to evolve that information and make it a catalytic experience.
Yeah. And it's amazing, the biological logic of a cavity, because a cavity, if you are touching two teeth, that when they touch, when you close your mouth, they touch, and they close a circuit,
Mhm.
and they send information. Okay, I am closing first upper first molar and lower first molar in the right side. Okay, father's gaze and recognition as a merit. The authority recognizes me. The authority recognizes me. When they touch, and I am passing through a moment of conflict regarding this in my life. For example, my boss at my work, he is saying awful things to me. He don't recognize what I do. So I will create a cavity. So when you close, they don't touch anymore. So you don't close that circuit. So the cavity is helping to getting less stress. So you have to go to the dentist, you have to fix that cavity, but you have to understand what's going on here. That is integrative medicine, integrative dentistry.
So it doesn't happen again. So one of the questions Diane has is what happens when an old crown breaks? So it's like the repeating conflict. or is that different than biological decoding?
Depending the material of the crown, because we have crowns that transmit electricity, for example, metal crowns, or others that do not transmit electricity. As a general law, we know that fractures are the beginning of the reparation of a relational conflict. And a cavity is an active conflict. It's something that a problem that you are having right now in your life. This is in the class we explain the physics of why that happens. It's not because of something that I am saying. It's a scientific uh, resolution. But the crown can be a part of the conflict or can be the beginning of the reparation of the conflict. For example, using the example we said, imagine that you are in this conflict with your boss, and one day your boss comes to you and says, I wanted to apologize to you because I'm I've been a jerk with you. I've been treating you as garbage. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. You are so valuable for our company. Please forgive me. Oh, wow, you begin the reparation of this recognition problem because of merit, because of the things you do. It doesn't mean that it is solved, because many things have to need to happen to solve that conflict. But it's the beginning of the reparation. Many times in this moment, you can have a fracture.
Mhm.
Remember, fracture is the beginning of the reparation.
Okay,
Cavity is an active relational conflict.
great. All the questions that everybody's asking as far as crowns, teeth, the representation of the teeth, they're covered in modules 1, 2, and 3, which those three are done online. So you don't have to go anywhere. And it's over a weekend that you can share with us, and you will learn everything about this, all of your archetypes, what the connections are, what each tooth means from four relational aspects, correct, Fabian? If I'm remembering from
Yeah,
myself, from the ego, from
yeah,
the
of course.
yeah.
The first module, we talk about generalities and the meaning of each tooth and the three levels of relation, because you can read things on three different levels, and you understand the how this is working and why in our mouth, because everything has an explanation. In the second module, we talk about uh, everything regarding orthodontics, the position of tooth, um, everything, the shape of the roots, the way you chew, the different positions that can be a malocclusion. Everything has a meaning. So we understand the profound spiritual and psychological meaning of that, and how to campaign our clients to have an conscious orthodontics if they want to go to the orthodontic. And the third module is regarding gums, regarding everything around your teeth, your gums, your tongue, and many things that happen around our teeth. That there's a lot of information: gingivitis, periodontitis, and everything regarding that. And the fourth module is the retreats. With those four modules, you become a dental decoder. Then we have other modules, which are post-graduation for those who love this too much, which is another retreat. You can do it. You don't need to follow the order. You can begin anywhere, because you can switch things. There's no problem. And the fifth model, that is the one we're going to have now in June in Malibu, is going to be regarding psychology. deep psychology applied to teeth and how to live it, because you will have all the fundamental tools of the psychology in this retreat, and you will learn how they express into teeth. It's amazing. Then we'll have another module regarding teeth of childs,
Mhm.
which is an online module. And then we have the last module, which is it's going to be a retreat as well, to learn how to create constellation and how to design symbolic acts, to give our clients tools to have a resolution to the problems. Because the psychology we use is high impact psychology. It's a kind of psychology which is fast and go right to the center of the conflict.
I am not a practitioner, Fabian, as you know that, and all the other instructors know that as well. I do not practice any decoding in any way with anybody. However, the information that I have gained from biological decoding, bioreprogramming, and all the other practices has been instrumental in understanding general psychology, not just this is how psychology works. When you really want to create an impact in somebody's life, I mean, my son, my friends, you do get to know them with those very subtle things, whether it's by looking at their smile, whether they're not smiling, whether they have a gap in their teeth, just little things that will help you how to maneuver those relationships in your life a little bit better without asking anything and without imposing anything or making any assumptions of what people are doing. You do understand that's their relationship with themselves and that's what they're going through, and it's not going to be projected. So it's very, very, very helpful. So in the question that we were talking about today, to change subjects, is to how does dental decoding helps us align our energies for better alignment and evolution?
Coherence, because usually we want to align ourselves just meditating or just having a massage or doing certain things, but we still live with somebody we hate, or we are having a relation with somebody that we don't really love, or we are working in something that we don't want to work, or we are making many things incoherent. And those incoherences are reflected in our biology. And if they are regarding relations, are reflected in our teeth. So there's no alignment, there's no peace if you are not coherent in your life. So through this coherence, through finding those things that we are doing but we reject, or that we are but we deny, through the conscious of that and through changing and taking decisions in our life, we can get that coherence. And dental decoder is the easiest and the fastest way of doing that. And it changed my life completely, because now I am the dentist that I want to be. But many people who are just dental decoders, you don't have to be a dentist. You don't need to know anything about teeth, because this is heart and psyche and compassion. So, in my opinion, it's very, very important.
I agree with you, Fabian. We're just about on the hour. Edwina's panel was very easy and fast, but as Fabian said, there's still so much more that it's in there. And I know she's going to the retreat and taking the training. So she'll find out. If you have any panels, you have your panel, you want to send it to us so we can go ahead and put it on the schedule. If you have a specific question, also send that with your panel and we'll put you on there and I'll let you know when we can put you as a volunteer. The events are coming up pretty soon. We'll follow up with those registrations if you wish to attend. And Fabian, thank you so much. Your wisdom, I cannot get enough of this man. Like I'm constantly texting him, what does this mean? What does this mean? And at the same time, he's teaching me to accept what I am giving and do it from a place of love and a place in my heart. And it's definitely settling down instead of breaking my head into pieces, understanding everything. So, thank you everyone for being here. The takeaways that does not include Edwina's panel X-ray will be included on our platforms and I'll let you know when it's up there. Thank you again for joining us. I'll let you know when the next one is. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Fabian and Ruby.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone.
See you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you so much. Big hug.
Big hug. Bye, Steph.